What's up everyone, this is George from Your Local Musician, and today is the first episode of what is currently known as the Unknown Podcast. I'm sure by the time this actually comes out I probably would have come up with a real name for it, but right now that's what it is. It may be something else, or I may just go with that. I don't really know right now. All I really knew is that I really just wanted to commit to a format of content that is where I can really blurt out my actual sort of thoughts about certain things and do it in a long format. And I know the YouTube numbers aren't so great right now. They never really have been. It's not kicked off too much for me, but we are sitting here, and we are hopeful that one day it'll get a little bit heavier. When you're working a full 9-to-5 job and when you come home and you're dedicating yourself to trying to build a brand, and obviously when that brand's in music, there's a lot of people that you're trying to stand out against, so it is, but I just want to do things sort of differently, you know what I mean? Like everyone's doing the same sort of thing. Everyone's putting up their beat visualizers on IG, and you don't get to see a lot of producers' faces much anymore, or if ever, sorry. But I really kind of wanted to make this podcast just for the sheer reason of extending my value in the long sort of format, and if the numbers aren't great, then I don't really care anymore. I'm tired of sort of sitting around and trying to chase algorithms. I just want to do what I want to do, because that is what makes me happy, and I'd encourage you to do the same, because it feels a lot more fulfilling knowing that you are doing what you feel like is right in your heart of hearts. So I wanted to make the first episode of this about a recent thing that sort of happened to me. I recently got sort of picked up to be a part of a sound design team called the Slap Experts, which, as you'll know probably by now, is founded by Mr. Curtis King, who I've always been a massive fan of his content and what he does. I wanted to title this How to Connect with Influential People, because Curtis King is definitely one of those people, and how I got drafted into this situation and how I've sort of added it to my current arsenal of what my business is and what I do to bring in money. So I just kind of wanted to sort of tell the story of how that currently happened, and how an unknown sort of person like me was able to connect with a known person like him, when there's so many sort of other people that you could have chose to do something like that for him. And it all kind of starts back in April of 2018, when he first launched something called Curtis King TV, which is now known as Curtis King University. Now, when that first launched, obviously, it aroused my interest quite a lot. And the point that I'm trying to make is that I saw an opportunity to have direct access to someone that was doing the things that I am trying to do myself. Who is better to learn from than a person that's already doing what you want to do? So I saw Curtis King TV as an opportunity to have direct access to this particular influencer. Now, he's not the only one that have communities like this. I know there's Music Entrepreneur Club. I think that guy Russalon has one himself through his Patreon, I believe. So there's plenty of opportunities out there to connect with these kind of people. And you have to do it whether there's money involved or what not. That's something, if you're trying to really grow in something like this, investing in yourself is one of the most important things that you'll ever do. Now, the price attached to that was obviously at the time $19.99 per month. So to me, I'm British, convert that to pounds, I think it was about £15 overall. So I was more than willing to snap up that opportunity to not only gain access to him, but to also gain access to other producers, rappers, singers, songwriters, people that buy beats, and obviously people that sell beats, people that sell drum kits, and a lot has happened in that time of joining. Um, I've met a lot of interesting people. I've developed an awful lot of relationships um, with people that I now consider really close friends, and I come to them with all sorts of questions, and it's been a really great sort of experience to meet people that do what you do. Now, within the beginning of being in the Curtis King TV community, obviously for a while there was a lot of daily workshops, a lot of opportunity to speak directly to these people all at once and see their face, and obviously see Curtis King's face as well, and obviously learn an awful lot along the way. What I kind of wanted to make this thing about is what I did while I was in there, because what I did while I was in there is the reason why I got drafted into this team. I always made sure that I made what I did known, and known to everyone. I've got some unique skills and I wanted to tell people about them, possibly work with them. And those two unique skills for me are playing the guitar, are SEO, which has been my sort of career for the past 7-8 years now. And that's quite a unique skill that a lot of music producers and artists don't really have. So obviously, quite automatically, I stood out to a lot of people, I suppose. And I didn't just sit in the back of the classroom during these workshops. I was sitting on the front row. I was asking questions. I was talking to people. I was responding to things. I really made my presence known there. And through that, an awful lot of people started to obviously know what I did specifically, not only just making beats, but I've been a guitarist for nearly 16 years. Or just a bit over that, I think. I'm not too good with dates and remembering things, but it's been a long time. It's been 10 plus years at least. And from that came some opportunities to work with different producers to play things on their tracks, and from that created an awful lot of really strong relationships that are strong relationships to this day. One thing I talk about with Curtis quite a lot is actually playing guitar. So to him, then and there, obviously I was known as the guitar guy, and known as the guitar guy to and pretty much everyone else in that community. And what I kind of want to encourage people to do with this particular episode is to do the same. If any opportunity to connect with these kind of people arises, I encourage you to always take it, because it's a great opportunity to connect with a lot of people that will change your life forever, because a lot of them have right now. There's people like my man 5am Sounds, 9DM Beats, 9DM Beats, there's Pearl Manhattan, there's Aaron Barber, there's Lundy, there's a lot of people, and if you don't know those names, you'll know them soon. Trust me. They've taught me a lot, and obviously Curtis taught me a lot during the time of being in that community. And obviously, fast forward into 2019, he's recently decided to start up a sound design company called slapexperts.com. And he needed a guitarist. And who was the first person that he thought of? Me. And why did he think of me? Because I made my skills known. I let him hear it an awful lot. He started listening to my music and things like that, and listen to the beats that was putting out. During the time of actually being in that community, I often viewed guitar playing and beat making as kind of two separate things in my head. I was at one time the guitar player. I can never be the guitar player and the beat maker. I had to be two separate things at two separate times. And one of the things that I learned in that community was how to actually bring them together. And believe it or not, that's a lot harder than it actually sounds. And it's been an eye-opener for the last year. My sound has completely sort of changed, and it's been awfully sort of rewarding experience. And I honestly feel like now, at the tender age of nearly 28, that I'm finding my sound more and more. And it was because of the influence of Curtis King and obviously other members of that community. So I didn't want to make this drone on too long. I didn't want to make episode 1 of 30 minutes or an hour long of me just sort of droning on. I just wanted to make the point of the episode that you really want to seize as many opportunities that come your way to connect with people like this. Because if it wasn't me in the first place that invested in the Curtis King community, I wouldn't be a part of this team today. So I encourage you to do the same. Don't hold back. Don't be nervous. After all, just if you don't put stuff out, then nothing's gonna quite happen for you. And that's one thing I've learned, and it's really changing what the projection of where I'm going with this music stuff. And it's an experience that I wouldn't change for anything. So I didn't want to make this too long, obviously. As I've said, I didn't want to drone on too much. I feel like I am a little bit. But this is the new podcast, currently known as the Unknown Podcast. This is going to be on YouTube and, of course, all the other streaming platforms, Spotify, everything else. That is my alarm to tell me that I am droning on. So I'm going to end this here, and I hope this is the start of something great.